Now let's start in the US, and following the recent mass shootings across the country, President Joe Biden says he would work with Congress to try to get rid of assault weapons. Joe Biden brought up the issue of enacting red flag laws to prevent gun purchases from at-risk individuals. Biden also recalled how his late son Beau, as Attorney General, pushed such legislation in Delaware years ago.
We're not enforcing red flag laws, period, just based on knowledge, not on parents saying or loved ones saying you should arrest this person now for his own sake. It's ridiculous. We got one of the first red flag laws in the state of Delaware. My son Beau is the one enforcing it, and it made a lot of difference. It saves lives. So that's number one. Number two, the idea we still allow semi-automatic weapons to be purchased is sick. It's just sick. It has no social redeeming value. Zero, none. Not a single solitary rationale for it except profit for the gun manufacturer.
Well, in the United States, a red flag law is a gun control law. The law permits a state court to order the temporary removal of firearms from a person who they believe may present a danger to others or themselves. A recent shooting at an LGBTQ club in Colorado involved an assault-style weapon and a handgun. And at a Walmart in Chesapeake, Virginia, the suspect was armed with a handgun and multiple magazines. Next week, Congress returns with multiple issues to address, but any action on gun legislation would likely not have the votes to pass, particularly a ban on assault weapons, which Biden has repeatedly called for. And the divided Congress in next year's session makes it highly unlikely that anything will pass over the next 2 years. Well, for more on this, we're joined by our correspondent, Susan Tehrani from New York. Susan, thanks so much for joining us on WION today. Over 600 mass shootings this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. It's the third year in a row that as many shootings have taken place. Just give us a sense of how serious this issue is and why Biden is now choosing this moment to push it through, or push stricter gun laws through Congress.
Yeah, every time there is a mass shooting, it seems that the president comes out and calls for a ban on assault rifles and assault weapons. That is his talking point, considering the fact that it's very unlikely for something like this to get passed on Capitol Hill for a variety of reasons. But let's bear in mind that these shootings continue to happen despite the fact that there was a bipartisan legislation, the largest one in 30 years, that was passed in the summer after that gruesome shooting at an elementary school in Texas, and shortly after the Buffalo shooting as well. And that was as close as both sides got to not only expanding these red flag laws, but also expanding background checks on individuals wanting to purchase guns between the age of 18 to 21, and then also for individuals who had a conviction of domestic violence and other issues. The reason for this issue not going further is because the Democrats really fail to focus on the mental health aspect of the issues. And when they focus on banning guns, notably for lawful citizens, that's when lawmakers really face a gridlock because of the Second Amendment issues in a lot of states.
Yeah, and as we say, only 4 weeks or so now until the Republicans take over the majority in the House in January. Because of that, how likely is it that Biden will be able to push any kind of stricter gun law through Congress at all?
Yeah, it depends on what the law is. Like I said, there is bipartisan consensus if there is really a focus on individuals with mental health issues to be able to purchase guns. 19 states right now have red flag laws. For example, the incident that happened in Colorado has red flag laws. The problem is oftentimes when laws like these are passed, even Republicans agree and Democrats agree, they're not implemented properly. For example, the courts don't know much about them, law enforcement isn't implementing them, and then there's that infringement on Second Amendment rights. There's concern about that. So while laws do, some of them get passed, maybe not an all-out ban on assault weapons maybe is not likely, but these red flag laws, even when they do get passed, the question is, are they being implemented or not?
Yeah, some real tough times for the US at the moment concerning mass shootings. Susan, thanks so much for your time. That was Susan Tehrani for us there in New York.